Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Hey guys, hi. How are you? Everybody watching. Hello. Am I on the screen? You need to get more on this way.
Here we go.
How are you doing, friends? My name is Sunsfan, joined by the great Cinder, and I'm touching his shoulder right now because he's so manly. This is the TI4 qualifiers, Americas, presented by Monster. First match we have today is Sneaky Nick's Assassins versus Shadows of the Past, and actually we're in the ban pick stage, which I hate to miss, Cinderin. Let's just
go
get started
right away. Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, hope you guys are as excited about this whole qualifier shenanigans as we are. It is indeed going to be Shadows of the Past against Sneaky Nick's Assassin in this game, and want to talk a little bit about while the first stage of the picks and bans are going on, because this is the first round of the qualifier. So we're just getting started, and arguably we've been talking a lot among ourselves here about who's the favorite for the qualifier, and most people are picking Sneaky Nick's Assassin for top 4 at least.
Yeah, at least.
Some actually even saying top 2, I think. So
blasphemy, not really.
So this is a really important day one because a lot of the teams are playing, especially Team Liquid, which we're going to see later today, are playing some really big matches too that are very important. So Sneaky Nick's is one of the teams to look out for. Of course, there's some really familiar faces there between mainly Fluff and Stuff and IX Mike.
And Whitebeard.
And Whitebeard and Sna, whose nickname is actually the name of the team.
That's perfect. He's meant for this team, apparently.
And on the other side, maybe some old school Dota 1 fans will remember Last Hit Magic. I think he's pretty much the only one on this team that is even remotely familiar to me. Although I love the nickname Chicken MC. I think that's legit.
You've been talking about that name for the past few days.
I'm a fan based on the name only.
I'm kind of disturbed, to be perfectly honest. But let's get into the picks and bans, which we're going to try to start earlier than everybody else because I love the pick bans a lot, Cinderin. I know you know that. And it is the weird thing about me, but and of course with 6.81 things have changed quite a bit as far as the ban. Well, not quite a bit, because Invoker, Batrider are still there. Nothing new there, along with the like. And then Sand King, who, well, everybody loves Sand King these days. He's been paired up with that guy right there, Darkseer, quite a bit. He can jungle. He can do pretty much everything. He's turned into the very flexible support, or it's not really support, I guess the 4, I guess you would call him. Either way, we have Treant Protector and Darkseer picked for Shadows of the Past, along with Mirana for Sneaky Nicks. Perhaps a Bane incoming, something to that effect. As we have cats all over the studio. Probably should have closed the door, but hey, it's all good.
We have a cat jumping in front of the camera. That would have been good 2 minutes ago. Yeah.
Bad timing, cat.
Yeah, learn your timing. Okay. It's going to be Treant Darkseer indeed for Shadows of the Past, which is a kind of a good combo. This is seems a lot like an EG type of pick. This is what EG is aiming for right now. They have a ridiculous win rate on Treant, and maybe Shadows of the Past are like, okay, we need a team to look up to. The strongest team in America right now, without a doubt, is Evil Geniuses, and this is the kind of style they play. So we'll see if they can put it to use, and if they've studied that well. To me, this seems right from the get-go. This is kind of their approach. I think EG also very often bans the Sand King, so it's going to be a clockwork for Sneaky Nicks, which is, I think, arguably IX Mike's best offlane hero. He has like a ridiculous track record.
That's all I've been hearing about is IX Mike. Why are you looking at me? Stop looking at me, Cinderin. All I've been hearing about is the clockwork for IX Mike. Of course, everybody remembers him from Complexity and Liquid playing the support role. In fact, the hero I think of mostly is Shadow Demon. Of course, he's branched out a bit, and Clockwork is now the hero he is to be known for, apparently. So we'll see how he does there. So it's looking like, obviously, like an off-lane Clockwork with... I mean, the beautiful thing about Mirana, people talk to death about this, but probably the most flexible hero in the game right now. You can play her as roaming support, as just normal support, non-roaming, carry, mid, off-lane, literally every single role, pretty much. And the good thing is she scales pretty well into the late game, even if you start her as a support, because once you start getting items, she can right-click quite a bit, but it's looking like this will, in all likelihood, be part of a tri-lane, I would think.
I think most of the time Mirana is played still as a carry. I don't know Sneaky Nicks. Actually, Fluff played Mirana as a support at TI2, even. So he did it way before it was cool, right? So Fluff is really... I don't know. He's cool. He could be playing that. As a support here. We're going to see if that is going to be the case, but for me the only thing that's kind of locked right now for Sneaky Nicks is that Clockwork is going to be played by IX Mike. What was the win ratio we were told? He's like 17-1 with it. Need to remember most of their games are of course played against other American teams and not on a real international scale, but it's still an impressive score.
What are you trying to say?
Nevertheless.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that there's a reason Sneaky Nick's Assassins are considered a top 4 in this qualifier, because many of the teams they're playing against here, they're just beating regularly. So definitely the favorite going into this. I like the approach that Shadows of the Past have taken to the draft from the beginning, because this is, as we said, really successful for EG at the moment. And they're going to ban out the Bane just so they don't have to deal with Bane Mirana. That's kind of the only reason. Whereas Sneaky Nicks will be banning both Puck and TA, so taking out those mid heroes as it seems. I'm not sure if those are the main mid heroes for the mid player of Shadows of the Past, but
it could just be something that they want to pick that they don't want to go against. But like, not that it's going to necessarily be the case, but a Storm isn't very good against the Puck especially in the mid game once the Blink Dagger comes into effect. Well, Puck is pretty much considered one of the best mids in the game, period. So I guess doesn't necessarily have to be a deny or something to counter what they're actually going to try to do. And then TA, of course, seen her a little bit. She's kind of tapered off a bit, but you know, still relatively strong mid as long as you don't have any dot damage. Which, well, I don't think. Did you
just say dot damage?
Damage over time damage, yeah.
Is that
that's
like bottom of the moon?
That's the new thing. They're gonna ban the Shadow Demon, which is another very popular pick these days.
And of course, this game is taking place at 9 a.m. PDT time.
PDT?
Yeah.
Okay.
PDT time.
Good to know. It's very early. I agree. Is that what you're trying to come up with excuses for me for saying dot damage? I feel like people say that even though it's incorrect. I mean, people say a lot of things that are incorrect that are it's just the way it's done. And welcome to America, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So they're banning the Shadow Demon. Again, the pretty flexible support overall. It scales decently well just with the disruption and whatnot, but kind of tapers off as far as, I don't know, it's mostly defensive disruptions that can save the day.
He does have pretty good synergy with Mirana, though. That might be the concern. They also banned the Bane for the same reason.
Yeah.
Like disruption into Arrow, if that's something Sneaky Nicks likes to play. And it's also one of the supports that does very well against Darkseer, because the way Darkseer plays the offlane is, of course, he's relying on Surge to get away. And the moment you cast Surge, you just disrupt him. Then the entirety of Surge is wasted in place. And then you just get chased down. So that can definitely work. So they're going to remove that from the pool to probably enable Darkseer a bit more because of that. And yeah, we'll see what approach they take. I have to be completely honest with this. Shadows of the Past is one of the teams I know the least about. Like, I know Sneaky Nick's Assassins quite a lot, especially because of Fluff and Ixmigan, because we've seen them a little more exposed in terms of coverage in general. But Shadows of the Past, definitely one of the underdogs, so it's a little harder for me to predict what path they're taking, but to me, again, this just feels like EG style. They're going to get Morphling, which is a hero that mainly Arteezy likes to play for EG. It's a great hero to have living armor on, so he's just even more tanky and hard to bring down.
So you think that's going to be a mid? Is what you're saying?
It could be. And then Iron Shell is also not too bad on the Morphling, because he is a hero that comes in pretty close when he fights, so
yeah, that's true.
Can make use of that. It's pretty good.
That's true. So looking at the rest of the possibilities here for Sneaky Nicks and Shadows of the Past, I don't know. What do you think? So the Morphling followed by the Ancient Apparition is pretty good against Morphling with the Ice Blast and whatnot. I mean, you don't want to morph to Agility while you're Ice Blast, so the question is, can they land that?
Which way is it? It's better if you're only affected by Ice Blast. It's better to morph to Agility than to morph to Strength, because then your max HP increases, and then you're easier. Blah. You shatter a lot easier.
Right.
So it's actually a little tricky for Morphling, because you're used to, oh shit, I'm under pressure, let me morph some Strength. But if AL is the only thing on you, then you're actually killing yourself by morphing Strength, because of the relative difference in
it's funny, because it's one of the few heroes that's good against Morphling that doesn't have a stun. Well, if you don't really count Cold Feet as a stun, but I guess if they get him in a Cogs without a waveform or something, I mean, this is very, theory crafting here, but it's just not anything that you can
pretty good so
on.
far. I think it's...
So the one thing I'm disappointed by already, and it's not a good sign for things to come.
No Centaur?
Yeah, we're not going to see a Centaur, because Clockwork's offlaned. I mean, hey, Centaur in like a farming role is amazing. People underrate that big time, but unfortunately, I just had to say it. I had to say it at least one time today, so we're just gonna get out of the way right off the bat.
I'm sure you're gonna say it in the next game.
That's true. It's once a game then. Let's just keep a standard here.
Shout out to Centaur until he gets picked. We're gonna keep complaining until he's there, and then you shut up.
Shout out to Centaur. Yes, I love that guy.
All right, they're actually almost running out of time here for Shadows of the Past. They're gonna grab the Lich.
They have like no stuns on this team, other than Adaptive Strike. But you don't have the. It's more of the mini stun, the Adaptive Strike, because it's more agility than not. Unless he wants to go some weird. I remember back in the day, Morphlings used to play both roles, the agility and the strength one, where you just get agility or whatever the items may be.
I remember really far back playing Intelligence Morphling with Dagon. That was legit.
Intelligence Morphling?
Yeah, he used to be able to use intelligence as well.
Really?
Yeah, there was a scaling thing with that. I don't actually completely remember it anymore. But I used to play Morphling in pubs with intelligence somehow. But yeah, it's true. Of course, the higher strength you have, the longer the stun is. The higher agility you have, the higher the damage is. And yeah, you never plan on playing Morphling strength. But sometimes it can actually be a good choice to, for example, if you do have a replicate and you can commit and take a lot of focus fire because the enemy team doesn't realize how tanky you are with all the strength, or you just want to delay someone for a couple of seconds, or of course in the middle of a fight, if you've been focused a lot, you already morph a lot into strength, and then it's actually a pretty good stun. So,
right.
But you're right, they don't really have any reliable stuns. They do have the combo of Overgrowth into Chain Frost, which is a great ultimate combo together with Vacuum, so if they can pull that off, that's going to be huge. But then again, you look over at Sneaky Nyx, Mirana can just leap out of it, she doesn't care. It's kind of hard for Treant to come into a good position playing against Clockwork.
She can leap out of what?
Overgrowth.
Are you sure about that?
She moves, but she stays entangled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you create the gap you need. And now Sneaky Nyx are going to get Shadow Shaman as well. So a good all-round support that can... In this game, looking at Shadows of the Past heroes, it doesn't look like they want to do anything remotely close to an aggressive trialing. So you can play a Shadow Shaman support who is kind of weak on the very low levels, but who scales incredibly well with Mass Serpent Wards, and of course Ether Shock as well.
Well, what I'm looking at is Shackle into Arrow. It's not necessarily the greatest of combos, but with 0 stun, I mean, Vacuum can take him out of it, but everybody else, I mean, Adaptive Strike you're not going to really get early on anyway, so that's kind of a... Is that a blunder for Shadows of the Past, having 0 stuns, pretty much?
I think it's... If the Mirana is being played as a core here, she's going to have a really good game. That's the problem. So either they need to have a carry that can deal with that, or they need to turn this into a strategy where they actually don't care that the enemy... that you have no stuns. So, like, a sustainable pushing lineup, for example, they do have Treant, they have Ice Armor from Lich, so of course they can be very survivable, and then their last pick needs to have some sort of a way of taking down towers, which Sneaky Nyx Assassins do have, actually, as a matter of fact, with the Mass Serpent Wards. And a quick thing I want to mention too is, you see Shadows of the Past are playing this Treant, and of course Living Armor is amazing, but when the enemy doesn't have too much instant damage. But you look over Sneaky Nyx Assassins, they do have Battery Assault, that's pretty good for taking it off. They have Ice Blast, that's pretty good for taking it off, as well as Cold Feet. And Mass Serpent Wards just removes Living Armor in one attack, right? If all the wards hit you, the Living Armor's gone. So I'm a little bit worried for Shadows of the Past here that they might not be able to put Treant to good enough use. And when they picked Lich, they are not going to be putting so much pressure on early on. They're going to be setting for a mid-late game scenario where they're going to try to win on farm. Oh, there we go. No more complaints.
Oh, peace, son. Peace.
That's great. I don't even have to... You're not going to talk about that.
I don't know where they're going, but hey.
This makes me really happy.
Yeah, it really makes me happy. I'm going to say it every game anyway. But, they have a very sustainable, as far as buildings are concerned, very sustainable. I mean, we were talking about this the other day. The 2 heroes that can do stuff with towers, essentially. Treant and Lich. And I haven't personally seen Lich use the Ice Armor on buildings yet to full effect, so I'm interested to see what happens there. But, I mean, Sneaky Nyx doesn't have the greatest push. I mean, they have Rasta, and that's essentially it at this point. So the question is, do they want to get any more to go against that tower defense that is Shadows of the Past? Of course, they have Centaur now, so don't necessarily need a blink on Treant, per se. They're going to pick Death Prod. Okay, so there's their push. GG.
Yeah, this is interesting, because this is kind of... If you just look at it in terms of, let's say this game goes late game, you're looking at a team that has a Morphling and a Centaur late game with Ice Armor, which is really a good late game skill, and Darkseer. So, in that sense, Shadows of the Past are definitely aiming for a long game, whereas Sneaky Nyx Assassin probably wants to put pressure early on with both the Mass Serpent Wards and, of course, the Exorcism. So, my question is, can Shadows of the Past draw it out? Because they can hold the towers with Living Armor and Ice Armor, and as long as the tower doesn't get brought down, they just heal it back up. And with Ice Armor on it, you need to remember Exorcism is a physical damage type, so the ghosts do less damage to the tower with Ice Armor as well. Of course, they don't get slowed, but the Mass Serpent was physical too, which is the reason they can actually hit the tower in the first place.
But they don't get slowed either. But which would be hilarious if that wasn't the case, actually. I don't know if I've personally seen that. Have you? I doubt they get slowed.
The Serpent Wards? No.
That would be pretty hilarious.
They can only take damage. Wards can't get anything else than that. So... I think this is going to be interesting to see, because the way Shadows of the Past are approaching this game is just strict, like, economics right here. They want to farm the Morphling, they want to deny farm from the enemy team with Lich, and they just want to hold. But I feel like if Sneaky Nyx Assassin gets a good start, and especially Clockwork gets a good start, this is just such a good Clockwork game, because who's going to stop him on the other side? He can just really play super aggressively, set up for arrows, set up for Crypt Swarm, and of course all the other big nukes they have, AA Ultimate.
Is this a Darkseer mid?
That's a good question. Let's see.
I mean, I'd love to see Centaur mid. I don't think either one really matches up well against Death Prophet, though, so...
Yeah, so when they pick the Centaur, I think since it's Radiant, I'm going to say the Centaur goes offlane. And again, I'm not completely familiar with the players and their general roles, but I would say in this matchup, it makes a lot of sense to put the Centaur offlane because he's going to get crushed in mid by pretty much anyone he's meeting there. Or they play the Lich Morphling mid, and they try to deny Death Prophet out of the lane, which would be really good, actually, for them. And then last hit magic on the Treant can
yeah, I like that idea.
Can safeguard the Centaur in the safe lane,
right.
or the Darkseer there.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's actually talk about the players while we're paused anyway. So we have a reconnect quickly coming in from Chicken MC, my favorite player by nickname.
Have you had any Chick-fil-A yet while we've been?
No, actually not.
You're going to have to.
We're going to try a lot of stuff.
It's part of the American experience.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of.
Does it taste like freedom?
I'm not a big fan. I'm more of a KFC kind of guy, but hey, what are you going to do?
So, yeah, let's see. For the Radiant side, it is Shadows of the Past. We've got Last Hit Magic playing as Train Protector. We've got Joik, or Yo-IK, I don't know, Joik, we're going to call him Joik, playing as Lich. Morphling will be played by 1, or First, however you look at that. We've got Neerok playing as Darkseer, and then finally Mr. Chicken MC on the
Chicken
Centaur
MC himself playing my favorite here. This is... I'm rooting for him, man.
This is good. I'm rooting for him because of name. You're rooting for him because of hero.
Yeah.
We're so biased.
Together.
This is a great start of the
We love
qualifier.
him. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, on the other side of the bridge, as we'll call it, the Sneaky Nyx Assassin, we have Whitebeard playing the Rasta, aka Shadow Shaman. Ush on the Marana, Fluff and Stuff. On the AA, we might have a little bit of an engagement here, as SP, Shadows of the Past, are just waiting in the wings here, Fluff and Stuff. Oh, he's going to put down a ward, and they're going to see him just fine. So, going over the rest of the roster, we have SNA himself, the Sneaky Nyx Assassin, on the Sneaky Nyx Assassins, playing...
Why is he not playing Nyx Assassin?
Yeah, he should be playing Nyx Assassin. Playing the Death Prophet, and then in the off lane, which I guess we'll call that the off lane in this game, IX Mike, as we talked about pre-game, on his patented, I guess we can call it patented now, Clockwork.
As far as that team goes, he's patented Clockwork.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else in that team will be playing that.
I'm not going to lie, I'm not used to playing on such a small monitor. This is going to be interesting. My monitor is massive at home. I do want to mention that it is a triple melee lineup for Shadows of the Past, and then Morphling has ridiculously low range for a range hero, so they're not going to keep... I don't know. I think that's why the Centaur ult is crucial in this game. They can actually close the distance quite a bit. You're going to see AA pick up the haste. He looks interesting when he's running. He's like twiddling his thumbs while he's
reading a book.
Or he's reading it. Yeah, that's true. An invisible
How
book.
to gank. Oh, he's got Chilling Touch.
Gank.
He's got the right start. So this is the lane. This is where it's going to be at, basically. So we are going to see the Lich Morphling in mid, as I was suggesting for Shadows of the Past. So he's going to have a great start in the Morphling against the Death Prophet here. But actually, Lich is considering rotating already down to bottom, but he won't do it right now. So the bottom lane is going to be a Centaur together with Treant against this aggressive trial lane with triple ranged heroes. Shackle, I don't know if the damage of that per second. The damage of that per second should remove a stack of living armor every time too. It's 40 damage per second, so this is going to be a ridiculously hard lane for Centaur. He's basically not going to get anything, but if they can get some pulls going and get some experience there, perhaps they can get level 2 on the Treant and on the Lich maybe, and then they could have a chance here. But it's definitely this aggression coming out from Sna in the beginning, I think, is going to pay off. But the top lane, Clockwork against Darkseer, is a really hard lane for Clockwork actually, so perhaps overall this is pretty even.
Yeah, IX Mike's going to have some issues, but once he hits level 6, expect him to leave that lane anyway, so that's really all he needs is the levels for the most part. Obviously farm can be important, but I think Clockwork's more level dependent than item dependent for sure. But yeah, I'm more interested in this mid lane. Of course, Lich is going to be denying a lot of XP, hopefully if he does it correctly, which I'm assuming he will. Has that level of sacrifice. Yeah, he's not Neil. I guess that's something people is going to go over their heads because they haven't seen that video yet, but regardless of the fact, Neil's amazing at this game. But Centaur, he's getting levels. He's level 2.5 right now, so has 1 level in return, surprisingly enough. Didn't even bother going Hoof Stomp yet. Of course, hasn't leveled up his second ability as of yet, but not a whole lot of action to start off. And I guess considering the lanes, it's kind of to be expected, I suppose.
Yeah, the main thing to think about right now is how crushed the Morphling is actually getting in the mid. So Death Prophet is 11-3 and Morphling is 3-0. So he's just getting outplayed. I think as far as this lane goes, considering he had a bit of health from Lich in the start, and they have the same base damage, this is mechanical skill. And one is just getting crushed right now by Sna here, so they need to make sure this Morphling comes online, because it seems like their entire strategy is actually built around him carrying the late game. So this is the one lane that they absolutely cannot lose. Actually, a bit of aggression coming in here from Morphling and Lich onto Sna. He's going to miss the Crypt Swarm even, so we'll get pressured away a bit, but it does have 3 bottle charges and a Tango still.
Now, keep in mind, we're talking about good counters to Morphling. Of course, the silence is excellent as long as you get it off before the Morph ability. is activated, can really destroy somebody like a Morphling who tries to replicate away.
We have a really annoying overlay on, actually.
We do?
I think.
What?
Check behind.
Behind?
I'm pretty sure that we have an overlay issue
What's
right
the
now.
overlay issue?
Is that...
No, you're good.
Is it... Is
You
the...
had to switch off the track.
Huh?
Okay, the overlay is fine now, or...?
Yeah. Oh, did you just switch it?
Okay, no.
I'm just seeing this. I'm just seeing the
no,
feedback.
that's the preview window. Yeah, close that. You're still on the...
Having technical difficulties. LD's here to save the day, apparently. Oh boy. How do we have 2 XSplits open?
And,
Okay, so missing first blood, perfectly normal for the DC crew. Perfectly good.
LD, why you do this?
I'll take the blame, but LD is really the one to blame, so
Yeah.
we'll just go with that.
So here we go. Great start to the game. We missed first blood. It's all LD's fault though, so that's what matters. So yeah.
So yeah, 2 XSplit windows open, very confusing, I suppose.
Yeah. That actually wasn't your fault for once.
I know.
I'm really
it's
proud of
amazing.
you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Although we're gonna be making plenty of mistakes today, so playing on like a 20. What is this? A 22-inch monitor? Used to 30.
I actually think it looks pretty cool, that overlay on though. Like, look here. It looks good, right?
People raging into
All right.
chat.
So yeah, you guys are going to be catching up to this in a few minutes, of course. But yeah, it's been fixed. It won't happen again. But
That's not true.
Just fire LD.
Oh man,
All right,
Morphling
mid lane.
taking a lot of damage.
Actually
Here
gonna
comes
get the kill here.
Yeah, Treant is here with his right click along with the Leech Seed. Definitely enough to take out the Death Prophet, who has very little escape mechanism, and by that I mean 0 escape mechanism, aside from the Crypt Swarm, I guess. You can't really consider that anything, though. But looking at the last... Why is this... God, even the stats thing's all weird. Let's see. There we go. Okay, that's not even right. There we go, okay. So, Mirana, top of the charts in CS department. So good to see from her end. The question is, this top lane, when does IX Mike start ganking? Because he's level 6 now. Like, how important is the farm on IX Mike right now? What do you think about these cogs, by the way? They look like pacifiers. I really like them. We have a Frost Initiation onto Centaur at bot lane, taking quite a bit of right-click damage, but they won't be able to take him out unless an arrow is to come. They're actually go for it. He's going to hit the arrow directly in the Centaur's face. Living armor keeping him alive, but it's not going to be for long, as they take him out as a 2-to-3 advantage, or 3-to-2 advantage for Sneaky Nyx Assassins at this point.
Very nice prediction here from Ush on the movement of Centaur, and even the living armor can keep him alive at that point. So. Yeah, 3-2 for Sneaky Nyx right now, and as far as the farm goes, only Darkseer is a little bit ahead, but of course a lot of that is the...
Oh my god, Morphling
the jungle. Yeah.
goes so deep. Death Prophet might go down, although the Fog's
is he going to get a double here?
He might be able to. Crypt Swarm is up. Oh boy, he gets right-click directly in the face.
Oh, living armor!
Oh, it's going to save him, yes, at least for
5
now.
HP.
No rotations coming over, they're not going to find him.
All right, we're giving the kill to someone else.
What?
He's buying up. Hey, Roshan, how's it going?
Ah, good plan, good plan.
Get wrecked.
Of course, he didn't exactly know that there might be rotations coming over, which actually there were, but I don't think they would have made it.
That was okay. I think he used his gold before he suicided there, so it didn't really matter too much.
Yeah.
Top lane, Mike as well as Nayrok are fighting off against each other. This looks like a fight Mike is going to win. Even has hookshot ready. Does land it? Oh, not enough.
Living armor, man. Does he have a rocket? Oh, he's going to use the cogs instead. 3 seconds on the cooldown, but...
Oh, now Mike
mana
could be in
to
trouble
speak
if Last Big Magic goes in for this.
And he hits the Leech Seed, continuing the pressure, but...
It's not going to be enough.
No mana.
He needs another hit.
Oh,
That's a salve.
Health salve will keep him up. And, well, IX Mike plays pretty ballsy, so I appreciate that, coming from a very ballsy person myself. As you can attest to, of course.
So, how are we looking overall right now? Oh, bottom lane, actually, Centaur's going to be in trouble again. Perhaps the dive is coming in from Whitebeard. He's going to tank the tower on the way in there. That's really, really aggressive.
Well, keep in mind, Centaur's level 6, so Stampede is online, able to use to try to go away. Of course, if he gets sheeped, he can still go max speed, but once he gets the shackle, he's probably dead. He's going to hide in the trees here. He's going to use him. Here come the TP's arrow is going to connect. I think they'll take him out before anything else can happen here. They do, but here comes Darkseer among others. Moonlight Shadow. Do they have any vision? Doing a little bit of damage to Ross.
No detection.
Yeah, absolutely no detection to speak of. So he's dealing a lot of damage.
Oh wow, he's
Whitebeard.
almost got him.
Whitebeard's getting really cocky here, man.
Oh wow, really?
Okay, here comes the shackle arrow. I'm guessing coming. No. Okay, he's just gonna die to the Ion Shell if he's not careful. Ion Shell is down though. The wall. Naib. Okay, they're actually gonna get the rocket kill, but he's gonna trade his life for that. And bottom arrow's gonna miss, but Lich, he might be in a little bit of trouble. Living armor is there, and this is a big time rotation from Sneaky Nyx Assassin.
And this is the kind of thing that Nyx, I think, should be doing in this game, because, as we mentioned, the Shadows of the Past lineup is pretty fragile in the early games. Sure, they have survivability with ice armor and with living armor, but they don't have too much to fight back with. When the Centaur is out of the picture, I think they're going to be losing every fight. Now they're just going to dive. I'm going to call him Joik still. I'm not completely sure that is what it's supposed to be called.
They've hit every arrow this game.
Mike is actually getting blocked.
Oof, they're going to get the kill.
Oh, nice cogs.
Zoning cogs are too good. The tower's almost dead. They're not able to get the deny. Our Shadows of the Past. And Chicken MC, as much as you love him, he's in a little bit of trouble because he misses his hoof stomp. Applying some more pressure. Double Edge is online, but he's going to try to cock block. Very nice surge into the cock block, but Clock himself is going to get out just fine.
Why is it that every block with you is a
I don't know. I'm disappointed in myself because it's actually been replaced. Like, I've replaced clock blocked with cock blocked every time. I had a pun available to use. I just didn't do it. I don't know.
Terrible.
I know.
Terrible. So 8-4 at 4,000 gold lead and only 750 experience. But of course there is a lich on Shadows of the Past, so that is a little bit skew. But it's looking good for Sneaky Nyx from the start. They almost got the tier, or they did half damage to the tier 1 tower mid, which actually is pretty irrelevant considering there's a treant on the Radiant side. So he's gonna heal that up. But again, where's Morphling going? What's he getting? He has a Ring of Aquila and boots right now. He's not getting a Midas anytime soon, so he's actually been locked down pretty well.
Do you think a Midas would be the right choice this game?
I don't know. I think if he had a great start, it would have been. But it's going to be so late now that he might have to go for more mid-game effective items since Sna is going to be putting so much pressure. But I'm waiting to see what the idea of the draft is for Shadows of the Past, because as we said in the beginning, it was looking like an EG draft, but then the way they took it in the last few picks just didn't make as much sense to me as what they set up for. And we're just seeing Sneaky Nyx doesn't take advantage of it. They just go aggressive and they get kills because Shadows of the Past haven't been able to fight back enough yet. I think the mech on Darkseer is going to be a big breaking point for them, though.
Yeah, that'll have a lot of sustainability in these fights. I'm a little bit surprised in the last engagement at the bottom tower that that the Treant did not TP Overgrowth. That's actually a really powerful counter initiation, so to speak. Had it available, but maybe didn't have to TP it. Check a little bit after.
Hook shot.
Bottom lane. Arrow that follows, gonna connect, but here come the TPs. Can they get the kill and get out in time? Is the question. Fluffenstuff really wants the kill. Keeps missing his last hits. He is gonna get the last hit there. But here comes Centaur. Among others, there's the boom shakalaka from Centaur. It's a 1-for-1 trade at this point. And it looks like that will end things. And
I like that name. Boom shakalaka edge.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good. Living armor is just so good there.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Roshan. They can easily
That's true.
do this.
That's very, very true. A really easy lineup for doing that with. And again, the problem still Shadows of the Past, they can't really contest this at all. If they go into this, they fight into wards and into DP Ultimate. Pretty much no lineups really can do this against the Dire at 10 minutes. So smart play from Nyx to go for this with their draft. Easy Roshan. He just goes to Ush, who's 3-0-3 on the Mirana, so probably the right choice. Can give it to Death Prophet, which is the type of hero where, you know, if you die with the Aegis, then heroes that are based so much around their, I wouldn't call it transformation ultimate, but you know what I mean. Not really the best Aegis carriers necessarily. So good to have it on Mirana here.
They're going to transition to bot lane perhaps and attempt to push this, but I think they have to worry about mid lanes. We have perhaps an initiation, but the Waveform's going to get Morphling out in time, about to hit level 9. Expect the Replicate to come up shortly, so he'll, of course, like I talked about, if Sneaky Nyx Assassins can get the combos off correctly, especially with the silence, they can destroy Morphling. And of course, with initiation of Moonlight Shadow, they have a lot of opportunity to do so. So Morphling might have quite a bit of trouble getting online to the point that he's actually scary, because again, that's a hero. He's very difficult to kill overall without having the right lineup, but he doesn't really do a whole lot of damage until you get a couple items on him.
Exactly, and I feel like for Shadows of the Past right now, it's really a matter of just stalling it out a bit. Don't lose more towers, keep healing up the mid like they're doing right now with Living Armor, and then get Blink Dagger on Centaur and Mech on Darkseer, and then you fight. Until then, you're too weak. Actually, you see Shadow Shaman is picking up a Blink Dagger now, so the net worth on Shadow Shaman is way above that of Centaur. Centaur has 2k gold, and he was a safe laner. He just got locked down in this game. And it's just the big discrepancy in farm that is disallowing Shadows of the Past from doing anything right now. They've pretty much lost all their lanes in terms of overall farm. And the only way of coming back into this is getting key items and getting that big wombo fight with Blink Dagger Centaur together with Vacuum. So,
and here comes the push.
there's the pressure.
Exorcism's available. Of course, regen is there as well. Can keep into an AA bus. It's not going to hit thanks to the Centaur's
A nice overgrowth
on so many freaking people. And a wall to follow. And this is actually going to force SNA to back up, I do believe. We have 2 dead for SP. So the favor is still in Sneaky Nick's assassins in their way. But they do get the tower. Marana actually in a lot of trouble.
Oh, they let him live?
No, I thought the right click was there. It's so slow on the right click. Aegis does pop. They're not going to lose too much. Sneaky Nick's assassins just overestimating or whatever. SP and myself underestimated the power that is SNA. Can we just call them SNA? I think people would call them SNA, so we'll just go with that actually. Team fight.
That was. You know, without that big discrepancy in gold, I think Shadows of the Past would have taken that fight. That was such a sick overgrowth. He had Iron Shell on him as well. He got into melee range, started clopping away at targets. But
did you see a Chain Frost? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, there might have been one, but you're right. It didn't really seem to have too big of an impact in that fight. And again, it's a great overgrowth, but where's the follow-up? Like, that looked sick. If they had a higher level Vacuum, or if the Centaur had a Blink Dagger, then that fight could have totally gone their way, and not even by a little bit. They could have crushed Sna there, but Sna taking advantage of their lead. They get the tier 1 tower mid, and again, it's so important to them that when they commit, they need to take the tower down fully. So it just gets healed up again. And they've been doing a good job at that so far, getting 2 towers at the 13-minute mark, the bottom and the mid one, and putting pressure on bottom lane. Sna, by the way, the player. See, that's why it's annoying.
Yeah. Just call him the hero name.
Yeah, Death Prophet has picked up a Yule Scepter now, so she'll be even harder for Shadows of the Past to bring down, who already, in my opinion, don't really have the best DP counter lineup.
Yeah, for sure. And this might end up being a trade, but of course it's a tier 2 for a tier 1, so Sneaky Nick will take that any day of the week. We're seeing the Treant armor come into effect a bit, but it hasn't been a huge factor as of yet. We have some TPs here in the mid lane. Looks like Ike's Mike's going to have to fall back to base, so they're not going to have that initiation, but of course, Shadows of the Past have no idea of that fact. And, okay, this is quite annoying, this looking armor, I will say. But usually, I mean, that's only against 1 player. So, I mean, if they have 2 or more players, they're not going to really be able to stop these pushes, I don't believe. I mean, does Lich even have, okay, it's 1 level of ice armor. What is that, 3 armor, I believe? Yeah, 3 armor to tower.
It's more about the full slow.
That's true.
Which is the same.
What, 30%, 20%, I believe?
It's 30 movement and 20 attack. Okay. So it is really good on level 1 just to have on towers. But again, like we talked about in the pre-game, it's still Shadow Shaman wards and Death Prophet all don't really care about the slow effect. It's only the armor that matters, and they will be taking towers. Actually, Rocket up top. They might try to set up for a kill on 1 here. If Aeol hits, he's pretty much dead from Aeol and the Crypt Swarm. We're gonna see if Fluff is trying for that, or if they let Ike's Mike initiate with a hook shot first. But I think Sna is playing this exactly like they should. They need to just force and put pressure and extend their lead, because Shadows of the Past, there's still those core items behind and just can't find an opening at all.
It's gonna be a free tower, not even a deny attempt. Well, they're doing exactly what they need to do. So, assuming that things continue as they do, the next couple towers, I guess tier 2s are all that's left from the outer towers for Shadows of the Past, and once this next Roshan comes up, that's probably the point where they start breaking the base, I think. Okay, so we're going to initiate it from the Clockwork. It is on the Replicate, unfortunately for him, but at the very least, they get that, and the Pacifiers zone him out quite a bit. And this tier 2 tower is dead. You're supposed to laugh when I say Pacifiers, by the way. Tier 1. Death Prophet's going to attempt to stop this push. The AAL is going to hit on 3. And that's going to force Shadows of the Past to back that up.
Oh, is Ush actually trying for this? He is? Arrow? No.
Nope, not going to happen.
Oh, this is drums?
Though. Of course, they have the Cyclone.
Oh, what a leap.
The leap is god-awful, but that's okay. They have the Cyclone. And 0 stuns. Unless Rossi can get here. Actually, the damage from Death Prop with those phases is pretty ridiculous.
Yules is so great against Stampede as well, by the way, because the duration of Stampede is 3.75, and the Yules takes
oh my
2.5.
Good
oh, what?
Lord.
What?
1v1 Marana versus Morphling. I guess Marana wins.
Yeah, with...
Well, the Replicate was
with
down.
a net worth lead of...
Hey, the initiation on the Replicate caused that to be a kill there, because he could not get away. Of course, he has waveform. And,
wow, that's just sick play from Sna.
Exactly.
Preparing for
it's next level.
The follow-up 1 minute later. Exorcism level 2 goes off, this mid tower is not long for life. We're starting to reach the point now where Shadows of the Past are just running out of options. They're about 1,000 gold per minute behind. We're 14k gold at 17 minutes. They still don't have their core items that they desperately needed 5 minutes ago. Actually, finally the Blink Dagger's up on Centaur, and Darkseid does have the mech, but I think it is kind of too little too late now. The map is falling apart, and Morphling has not been enabled at all, and that's why you see Mirana being able to solo him like that. She is twice the net worth. Actually, 4 heroes have the top net worth on Sna. 15k gold.
AA just needs to step it up, man. Like, what is the deal, Fluff? Jesus. It is sad to see for Centaur, though, of course. The lanes are really weird, I feel like. The dual lane was okay, it's just Morphling just didn't get enough farm.
He still lost the lane, that's the problem.
That's the weird thing. Like, do you lose that lane against the Death? I mean, Death Prophet's good mid, but a dual lane should beat one hero pretty much every time, unless it's OD or something. Which actually, that's not even the case with OD.
Lich wasn't there the whole time, but just in the beginning, I'm just thinking, Lich sacrifices a creep, he starts hitting Death Prophet, so Death Prophet either hits back or has to run, and Morphling free farms. That wasn't the case. Lich wasn't really helping out too much, and Morphling just got outplayed one-on-one, completely. The heroes have the same damage. Morphling arguably has a little bit of a better attack animation, but shorter range, so maybe overall fairly even lane. He just got crushed by Sna, so really, it's kind of, I think this is the time where if you're Shadows of the Past, you just 5-man smoke, and you look for ganks. If you get a good pickup, maybe you can get a tier 1 tower. Right. If you sit back, you get dominated. And actually, we're already seeing aggressive warding here, coming out from Sna here to try to keep them inside the base.
In a lot of ways, the Morphling needs to play like a Spectre. He needs to farm, and he needs to have to replicate with his team at all times, so that he can come in whenever there's a team fight. Of course, he can't have it online all the time, but it's pretty much what you have to resort to. I mean, looking at his farm, what does he have? He has an Ogre Clip, so going for a BKB, I assume. And that, when you have to go a BKB first on Morphling, that's usually not a good sign. I mean, even with the BKB, Exorcism will destroy you, if you can lock him down.
Exorcism and Plague Wards, that's the problem. I feel like whenever Sna goes to a lane and uses their 2 ultimates, the other team can just watch. Like, Shadows of the Past do not have what it takes to initiate into that at all.
Look at the space they have right now. You don't even need to pop Exorcism for this. Just right-click this.
Then they're going to go for the base, I think. They should.
I think they go for Roshan. He'll be up shortly.
Yeah. Do you like the new clock?
Let's see.
I feel like it's a lot easier to understand now.
So it's like 1.5 minutes?
So yeah, we've reached 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you're right. 1.5 minutes, then it's up. So the total respawn time of him was like 9.5 minutes.
Oh, poor Shadows of the Past. Oh, he gets sheep right away. Goodbye, good sir. And that's...
Here comes the ale. Boom!
Jinx.
And they also get the tower denied.
Shadow Shaman is one of the best heroes to have Blink on, for sure. Instant initiation. Instant Blink Hex. It's very hard to counter.
At the very least, for Shadows of the Past, they did bring down the tower, even though it got denied, and they forced a TP response top. So they're buying time, but again, the guy they want to buy time for was the one who died, so it's not really paying off that much. Roshan respawns in a minute, and I'm actually a little surprised here that Nyx Assassins don't just break the base. Like, just try it. They have everything they need.
Mjolnir. Did you?
Yeah, they have Mjolnir, they have Shiva's Guard. Of course, the mech is available on Ike's Mike. He's had that for a while. They're not really short of anything to go in. So Mjolnir on Death Prophet is so good.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's
so good.
I was looking at their line. They don't have any strength heroes other than the Clockwork, which I don't think you really want to put it on Clockwork, but Death Prophet is a high priority kill for Shadows of the Past, and it's going to make it that much harder to actually take them down. Take her down. It is a wench after all. And the BKB won't really be up in time, I don't believe, for Morphling, as the A Blast is gonna nick the Centaur, but this is just gonna create space for the Roshan, which will be up any second now. They're keeping constant Ice Vortex on Roshan, Fluff is. And I think that's gonna be what they need to. I don't know if they need it, but
no,
they feel like they need it.
Yeah, they're gonna wait for it. I mean, play it safe. It's the TI4 qualifiers, of course. So this is the type of game that you just don't want to lose. Right. You don't want to throw it away. So
and here we go.
Playing it safe, gonna get the Roshan, and then I think at the same time, I think it's important for a team like Nyx Assassins, which we know is a top contender. They need to play with confidence, and I think it's important for them that they are good at analyzing the game situation and realizing how far ahead they are, and that they just end the game so that they feel strong. There's a fine balance between playing it safe and playing it too safe, and make sure you dominate. Make sure you feel like you're on top of your game, and just finish off the game when you have this time to lose. And the line is already drawn, by the way. I was just like, bot lane after, guys. Just go.
Yeah, we have a smoke activated. for Shadows of the Past. And the question is, can they get their second tier 1 of the game as a result of this? I mean, I'm sure they knew they were doing Roshan, but they can't contest right now. So the question is, what can they do to slowly come back in this game? And I think smokes are a good start, but again, it's not going to help right now that Sneaky Nyx has the Aegis, because they're just going to push full throttle into the tier 3s and eventual barrack. And we haven't even gone over items at all, but Death Prophet, Shivas, of course we talked about the Cyclone, and then Vitality Booster on top of that. Probably won't even have to finish the hard push.
Shaman almost has items. Really, yeah. This Rax is just flat out gone. They have to try, but this is going to be really an uphill battle, even though it's technically Nyx who are downhill.
Well, keep in mind, Darkseer has a blink now, so they have a little bit better initiation. But of course, it's going to be difficult to line that up with an Overgrowth correctly, because well, I guess you can stay by the
Here we go.
Centaur Cyclone can avoid a little bit of damage. There goes the Overgrowth on top of the wall. Actually, the Chain Frost's doing pretty good work overall. One dead right off the bat for Sneaky Nyx, but they're going to clean up. So much damage coming from Mirana, among others. Lich might be the only one that lives through this, as we have Darkseer attempting to run away, and Surge might be enough, actually. Sneaky Nyx is chasing, not sure they even need to, as the Rocks of Wars were in a great place, able to take out both racks.
And that was actually the initiation there from Shadows of the Past.
That was really good.
That wasn't too bad. They got a 2-man vacuum into wall. They got a great Chain Frost bouncing between multiple heroes, and they still lost the fight heavily.
I think it's difficult. When you're this far behind in gold, you can't really fight team fights. You have to pick them off one by one somehow.
And they were trying that top, but then they were Roshaning, so they didn't really get anything out of that smoke.
That is true.
Shadow Shaman will have Axe in 130 gold, and he does have level 2 ult. Yeah, this is
they can just split push if they want. He can push by himself. I mean, he's one of the few heroes. I put Leshrac on the same level. One of the best lane and tower pushers in the game, along with Death Prophet. I guess, so both of them together.
I think the Death Prophet pick this game was really intelligent. It didn't, just from the start of the from the draft overview, it didn't look like it was going to be amazing or terrible. Just looked mediocre. But in hindsight, it was really, really good here, because Shadows of the Past didn't have what it took to put pressure on Death Prophet, and if Death Prophet gets free farm, it's ridiculous mid-game hero. And their lineup is just built around having a strong Death Prophet here who also won her lane, so the entire strategy for Sna really came together in this game, and it's looking like a good start for them in the tournament and a pretty easy game 1 win right now. Yeah. Unless we're going to see the absolute miracle comeback, which I think, at this point, I remember a stat. I think right now, teams that have this kind of a lead at this point in the game have a record of 700-0 right now. So
really,
we're looking at the chance of winning the lottery right here for Shadows of the Past if they make a comeback.
You feeling lucky, Synderen? Feeling lucky?
I'm not going to bet on Shadows of the Past now, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
No. But you can do it. Then I can be leading 1-0 on bets.
No. Let's not start off on the wrong foot here. Of course, something we haven't really mentioned a whole lot is, as actually Lich might be, are they actually going to find him? They actually gonna find him? Do they see him? They're pinging him out.
Oh.
Do they even care? I'm not sure. Okay, maybe they didn't see him. I guess that was Treant that pinged out. But they're actually doing the right thing. They need to flank.
Oh, they found chicken.
Sides. Here comes the Cyclone. Arrow to follow, and goes onto the replicate. So very nicely played. I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but hey, we'll give them the credit where credit is due. Clockwork initiation. As apparently Lich got blown up, and here comes the Moonlight Shadow. As they're going to continue pursuit, there goes, Overgrowth, but no damage to follow, and this is probably where the second racks will fall.
Oh, Arrow,
Arrow not quite going to hit.
Look at the item build on Ush as well. He's got Deso and Mjolnir at 25. It's kind of a weird combination. So the Mjolnir procs when it does, and apart from that, the Desolator works. So this is actually not the most terrible of all combinations in Dota 2, but it's kind of
with all the physical damage, the minus armor is huge.
Yeah.
Not that it's needed, obviously. But
oh my god, there used to be barracks here.
oh my god.
Oh
my god.
They're gonna go mid.
Is there a last stand for
Shadows of the Past lost, man. It's over.
They have no ults, unfortunately. And even an Overgrowth on top of an Exorcism, as we'll call that, Death Prophet is very tough to test anyway. Lich ult's gonna bounce once, and that is it.
Technically not a bounce when it's the first target, is it?
That is true. Centaur gets cleaned up, and follow-up is ridiculous. Look at this right click.
This is called a 1k gold per minute lead. Lol, GG.
Wow. Well, at least they can take a hit and keep joking about it, I suppose. And the GGs come out, so Sneaky Nyx are the winners. Might have one last kill. No, not able to get in time. And I think the next match should be interesting as well. It's going to be Sneaky Nyx again, but this time versus Isurus. I think that's your favorite team.
Yeah, I think Isurus is one of the teams that least people know about, including myself. They are the Argentinian representative here. So going to be interesting to see them play. I don't actually think I've ever seen them playing before, so I'm looking forward to that. But